How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life.
Hello, and welcome to the jury room, where we dissect some of the most heinous, some of the most unthinkable, and some of the most monstrous crimes to ever scar the earth. From cannibalistic serial killers to decades-old unsolved mysteries, these stories are sinister enough to keep you up at night. Are you looking for a miracle? Let me welcome you to Jonestown. The Guyanese troops that came the next morning thought they were going to be facing revolutionaries. They've got their guns up and ready. The fog, the steam is in front of them. They can hardly see. And all of a sudden, they start to stumble. And they think maybe these revolutionaries place logs on the ground to trip them up. And then a couple of soldiers look down and they can see through the fog. And they start screaming because there are bodies everywhere. Almost more than they can count. And they are so horrified. That's Jeff Gwynne, author of The Road to Jonestown. Join us on the jury room when we dive into Jim Jones and the Jonestown Massacre that left over 900 Americans dead in a jungle in South America. Why did these people follow Jones? Could something like this, something this heinous, this grotesque, this tragic, ever happen to us? Find out on March 28th, 2021. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review. Turn on all your notifications to know what's happening with the jury room. Remember, stay safe, and thanks for listening.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
"'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, thou not a Montague. What's a Montague? It is nor hand nor foot, nor arm nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name! What's in a name? That which we will call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo, would he not Romeo called retain that dear perfection which he owes without the title? Romeo doth thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself."
"I take thee at thy word. Call me but Love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo."
"What man art thou that thus bescreened a knight, so stumblest on my counsel?"
"By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I written it, I would tear the word."
"My ears have yet not drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?"
"Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. Hello, welcome back to Mountain Murder's Offbeat."
Live from the Globe Theatre.
Oh, wait, I don't know if that was British or Australian. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Who are you?
I'm Dylan.
And I am Fair Juliet, a Capulet.
Oh, baby. You do that good.
No, I'm actually not Juliet. I'm Heather.
I can tell you went to college.
Oh, yeah? Well,
Yeah.
I did a lot of theater in high school.
I could imagine.
And, I've done a lot of theater in my adult life as well.
So here we are in the middle of the week.
No, I never done no Shakespeare, though. We are continuing our Celebrity Conspiracy Theory series. For now, this is going to be our final show as we're moving on to some other topics. And we may revisit more celebrity conspiracy theories this summer.
Yeah, we've been lost down the rabbit holes, and we got to come up for some air.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Been doing a deep dive, huh?
Yes, we've had some wild stories, and we've had fun talking about them.
Yeah, I think the last episode about the adrenochrome, QAnon, Hollywood has gotten a lot of positive feedback.
Man, there's so much going on in that story that it's hard to even wrap your head around just even thinking about it. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
And what's crazy, the craziest part is, even though you got the whole adrenochrome, is it real part of it, a lot of that really happened, was factual events that happened. Franklin, sex trafficking ring and all that.
Wacky Wednesday.
Yeah.
More Wacky Wednesday for you. Dylan, let's get into today's Offbeat. We're going to be talking about a quote-unquote celebrity, probably one of the most famous people in the world.
And I wonder if people can guess yet who it's going to be.
For centuries, people have suggested that William Shakespeare wasn't the true author of his legendary plays. Most people recognize the name William Shakespeare. He is considered one of the greatest writers who ever lived. He created masterpieces of poetry and drama.
I've heard of that guy.
Most of us have read his works, probably in middle school, high school, or perhaps watched one of the numerous movie adaptations of his work.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been done a million times, and I thought it was, I was interested when we got to that part in like English class and, that type of thing. And a lot of people weren't. They were like, oh my God. But I thought it was interesting. And I like the old English and just the way it's laid out. I'm no expert on any of it, for sure.
I think the problem with Shakespeare for a lot of people is reading and then trying to interpret the language because it's much different.
It is.
But if you're in a class with a good teacher who breaks it down for you, I mean, the stories are fascinating. I would have to say Macbeth, probably one of my favorite Shakespeare plays.
Yeah, and besides the numerous movies that are about Shakespeare or, one of his particular plays, I think if once you read Shakespeare and know the general themes of some of his stories, it has influenced and inspired many different movies over the years.
You are correct. A lot of the same underlying themes. You're absolutely right. I mean, I have to say, the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet.
Is that the one
from the 90s with Leonardo?
Yeah.
Claire Danes? That movie was amazing.
Well, I think they rode that line between taking a masterpiece or a work of art from a long time ago and marrying it with like a modern theme. That's tried a lot.
Great soundtrack.
A lot of times they try that and it just doesn't work.
It was super glossy.
Yeah.
Fast. I guess the cinematic aspects. It was a lot of fast kind of cinematography. I don't know where I'm trying to go with that.
Yeah.
The costume. I mean, everything. And then you add in the soundtrack to it. I mean, it was just a really cool version.
I agree.
Because honestly, I always thought Romeo and Juliet was like super boring. I didn't enjoy reading that play. I don't give a fuck. Two stupid kids fall in love, kill each other. Okay, cool, whatever. Kill themselves. I don't know.
Damn, tell us how you really feel.
Well, it's just probably not my favorite. But, that movie was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Jazzed it up a bit for me.
Definitely. And so, yes, obviously William Shakespeare was a huge influence for, I don't know how long it's been now, but hundreds of years?
Hundreds of years, Dylan.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, over the years, it has been speculated Shakespeare didn't actually exist. I mean, not as we know Shakespeare. This information comes from the lack of documentation on his life. There are only a few documents that have the signature of William Shakespeare, like a marriage certificate and a birth certificate of his child, a few legal documents. The most suspicious documents that have gone missing are the ones attributing him to the 37 plays and 154 sonnets that he's most famous for. In addition, his original pieces seem to have codes in them indicating that many believe he was trying to secretly communicate with the readers, telling them something, like maybe his true identity.
Oh, really?
Some of the surviving documents paint Shakespeare as an uneducated, unsavory character with no reputation as a writer. The few documents containing his signature, there are 6 in existence, they show a barely legible scrawl, and some people suggest this is a signature that would show that he himself was illiterate.
Oh, so when I think William Shakespeare, I think of the kind of calligraphy and the beautiful writing as well as, the stories and the words. And so that doesn't really add up, right? That he would be scrawling barely legible words on his signature.
In Stratford upon the Avon, his hometown, there is nothing to suggest he existed as a writer. There are no letters or information from neighbors congratulating him on his famous works. The town has no records that a dramatist lived in Stratford, along with no books, manuscripts, or any other archives that he might have left behind at some point.
Wow, it seems like if the young William grew up there, he would be known for being this kind of, I don't know, heady,
like a prolific writer.
Yeah,
right?
like local, or like some girls who dated him was like, oh yeah, here's letters he wrote me, and they were poetic and
they were dating.
Beautiful, and yeah,
they were on 1500s Twitter, Tinder, or something.
Oh, is that where you're stamping it into a stone tablet and then passing it off?
The theory begins around 1785. Based on the scarcity of existing documents and the writings themselves, suggests an author who was far more educated than the Shakespeare from Stratford, that the writer may have been actually Sir Francis Bacon.
Really?
Reverend James Wilmot, who was rector at Barton-on-the-Heath, proposed that Bacon was the true playwright. Let's talk a little bit about Sir Francis Bacon. He was a philosopher and politician. In this opinion, was the most viable candidate because of many works with his name on it have similar messages to Shakespeare's work. Bacon was a well-known figure of the Renaissance era. He was a popular philosopher, inventor, and writer. He was educated at Cambridge and was a member of the Privy Council. Many believe that because of his high political position, he had to hide his identity to protect his legacy, since the position of playwright wasn't one of dignity at the time.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that's how people viewed playwrights and people who created this type of art, as like kind of a low station or something that would be beneath an educated or noble person.
Well, I mean, it was up until probably the middle of the 21st century or 20th century, that Hollywood was considered lowbrow.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, socialites, people of prominence, considered movies, movie theaters, actors on the screen, that was kind of lowbrow and trashy.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe up during this period, I don't know, they were things were a lot more, they were crude plays. I think, you see that in old medieval times movies anytime.
Tartuffe and things like that.
Yeah, it's almost like they're a way to kind of politicize, make fun of the crown or, the government, if you will. But yeah, maybe a lot of it was kind of vulgar and
kind
stuff.
Kind of bawdy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Notables and accomplished men were reluctant to dabble in playwriting. However, many dispute the theory that it was him since plays were released after his death. This led to theorists pointing their finger at other potential suspects. Now, many also believe the English dramatist was at risk of suffering the Queen's wrath. As you mentioned, Dylan, the plays often contained political satire. Only through a ghost name, like a pen name, would this person be able to publish his poems and plays without suffering the consequences. Others argue this point. Now, some people see Shakespeare's writing as has a subtle pro-Tudor nature, and that perhaps the Queen herself commissioned these as propaganda plays.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
There were a number of concealed poets at this time, with many being members of the noble class. So it's easy to see how some people might believe that Shakespeare was actually a secret writer.
Yeah, and a lot of people maybe find it hard to believe that someone from common roots, a commoner or almost peasant, I guess, back in these times, would be able to be this prolific with their writings.
Like you, Dylan.
And their ideas.
You're a man of simple means, and look how prolific, talented, and educated you are.
Well, is that true?
Yes.
Oh, baby. Somebody is going to ask for a favor later, and they're buttering me up.
No way.
Like a big old Christmas turkey.
I do want that shirt. Okay, so two other people that many believe to be Shakespeare. One is Edward de Vere, and another you may have heard before, Christopher Marlowe.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of the last one there. Can we talk about Sir Francis Bacon's awesome name? I wonder if people just came up and smelled him. And they're just drawn to him.
So something that's kind of interesting, and maybe we should actually do an offbeat on this. Some of y'all may know, I've talked about it on the show previously, that I was, and I don't know, maybe still am, a burlesque performer, a burlesque artist. And I like to do acts with feather fans. And that's a big part of the burlesque world is the feather fan dances. And I actually have a book called Feuding Fan Dancers, I believe is what it's called. And it is about a woman named Sally Rand. She was kind of a famous burlesque performer known for the fans, but also Faith Bacon was another famous burlesque performer. And she was related to Sir Francis Bacon and came from like more of an upper class family, but became a burlesque performer, and she's actually one of the lesser known fan dancers, even though it's disputed, like, because she and Sally Rand were kind of on the scene at the same time, like, which was the first to introduce the fan dance.
Yeah, that's actually, we went to a book signing.
We did, yeah.
And the author there.
Leslie Zemeckis.
Yeah, and that was, you told me, you got me into that whole story, and that's very interesting. They almost had like a feud amongst themselves, and who was more famous, and this was in days of vaudeville and things like that. And so, yeah, it's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, so you've got a burlesque performer, and her last name is Bacon.
And she's kin to Sir Francis Bacon.
Yeah, so that's a weird little bit of information you'll probably never need, but you never know. You might go to trivia, and you'll be like, thanks, Heather.
From henceforth I shall be Dylan Bacon.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you got to call me.
Extra crispy?
Yeah, I'm going to go have my ID changed.
Or are you kind of like some of that soggy, half-cooked bacon?
No.
How do you prefer your bacon?
Well, I mean, this is serious business, how people take their bacon, right? You can't expect someone to have their bacon. I like mine rather done, but not burnt. I want it to be...
Like well-done bacon?
I want it to be crispy, but I still don't mind a little piece of kind of fatty part. So you don't like the fat at all.
I don't really like the fat at all.
So if I was bacon as a person, I would be that... when you get that budget bacon and you open it and it's got like the 1/4-inch strip of meat and then like 2 inches of fat, that's the kind of bacon I would be.
Okay.
But I like my bacon done, but not like breaking brittle into pieces.
Yeah, I don't like mine to be super, super crispy. Like bordering on the burned bacon. That's not really for me. I kind of like the way you're presenting the bacon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like crispy, but got a little bit of that tenderness left. A little fatty.
Baby.
Now I want some bacon.
I'm like that butcher block bacon, that thick sliced.
Oh, well, you're definitely thick sliced. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to our story.
Wow.
We're on a tangent today, Dylan.
I'm going to make bacon when we get done. Hey, Mountain Murders listeners. Me and Heather have some exciting news. We're hosting a brand new podcast. Batshit Crazy covers all things weird, spooky, mysterious, and even subversive.
From conspiracy theories to demons, cults, the paranormal to porn stars and sex taboos. We try to bring well-researched information to each episode, like you expect from Mountain Murders, as we discuss, debate, and try to uncover the truth behind these topics. If anything, we promise to deliver all the horrors.
Horror. Horror.
Find Batshit Crazy for free across all platforms. Hit subscribe today.
Marlowe had already fallen from the Queen's favor when he alleged, when it was alleged, I'll get that out, that these secret plays were written. So some people are like, why would he go to the effort of like using a fake name? Like he was already on the Queen's shit list, right? But in order to escape execution, apparently the church hated him because he was an avowed atheist. He escaped from Britain. A fake murder was staged so that he would appear dead. The plot was supposedly so successful that he was able to write plays from France with the Shakespeare from the Stratford fella standing in as an actor of sorts so that the plays could be introduced to English audiences. So the real Shakespeare that's from Stratford was just an actor, an imposter, playing the part of a writer while he is being fed manuscripts by Christopher Marlowe.
See, now that's kind of a stronger motivation to go through all this, what you described right there, instead of just, I would be looked down on, or, it would be beneath me to do that. That seems, because that's actually a pretty big scam that you're doing. Has a lot of moving parts, and it wouldn't be easy to pull off. So, I don't know if someone would be that motivated just to do something. That they might be, but yeah, that seems like quite a bit stronger motivation.
There were also some rumors circulating that Shakespeare had killed Marlowe in a violent bar fight. De Vere was a popular poet, and the connections between his life and Shakespeare's work are brow-raising. So there are these clues in the writings that have pointed to Edward de Vere as author of the plays. Now, de Vere was a secret writer who did not allow works to be published under his real name. He was the Earl of Oxford, and he was the anonymous author of The Art of English Poesy.
Oh, really?
Some have described him as the best writer of comedy from that time, though he doesn't have any comedies published under his name. So that's confusing for folks. De Vere was a patron of the arts who loved theater and poetry. He sponsored 2 theater troupes. One example that conspiracy theorists have found to link de Vere to Shakespeare's work was in the poem Venus and the Adonis, when Shakespeare describes Adonis wearing a bonnet. So Titan was a Venetian artist who painted Venus and Adonis. I mean, there's quite a few of those paintings. But his in particular showed Adonis wearing a bonnet. Now, get this. De Vere spent a great number of time when he was in his 20s in Venice, where he had been a frequent guest of Titan's studio.
Oh, wow.
So he would have firsthand seen this painting of the Adonis wearing the bonnet, which was later described in Shakespeare's work.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like, "What the fuck's a bonnet got?" Okay, I got you.
So one of Shakespeare's most influential sources, second to the Bible, was Ovid's Metamorphosis, or Metamorphosis. This poem was translated into English by de Vere's uncle, a man named Arthur Golding, who was living in the same house with the Earl of Oxford during the time he was translating this poem.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's considered a huge influence on Shakespeare's work, right? Now, the character Polonius in Hamlet is said to have been based on William Cecil, known as Lord Burghley. Cecil was the de Vere's guardian and later father-in-law. De Vere's Geneva Bible, I had a typo here. Geneva. It's Geneva. De Vere's Geneva Bible had handwritten notations in it, and it appears at the Folger Shakespeare Library, so you can go check it out if you're there. It is easy to see these strong correlations between biblical references and Shakespeare's work, and it's very similar to the ones penned in de Vere's Bible.
Oh, as far as the quotes?
Yeah.
And things that...
like everything, it's like nearly all the passages that are referenced in Shakespeare's work are underlined and appear in this Geneva Bible.
Well, that's pretty strong evidence, I guess, of sorts.
Now, there are other theories that Shakespeare's works were written by multiple writers at the time, and it wasn't just the work of one person, but like a work of almost like a guild of writers sharing in the work.
Well, yeah, I guess between the poems and the plays, there's quite a bit of work being done. It would be maybe hard for one man to do. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Personally, I kind of lean into the idea that de Vere could have possibly been Shakespeare. But regardless, his art lives on and is still making a splash on the stage today. Even if you don't agree with the conspiracy theories of Shakespeare's identity, it does make many of us wonder how many other famous people are not actually who they claim to be.
Oh, man. Damn. Now my mind's racing. I'm trying to figure it out.
You're trying to figure it out?
I'm trying to figure out who else is bullshitting.
There could be a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli.
Well,
They was bullshitting.
they were. Oh, we got Milli Vanilli on vinyl, son. What's up with that?
Yeah, we should listen to Blame It on the Rain and eat some bacon.
Yeah.
Well, that has been my celebrity conspiracy theory story for today. All about William Shakespeare. Of course, you can do a deep dive into that if it interests you. There's a lot of information out there. There's even a movie, I think, called Anonymous. Came out a few years ago, maybe a decade ago. And it's actually about the idea that Shakespeare was, someone else.
Really?
Yeah. So you should check it out. I think it's got a bunch of English actors in it. What's his name? Rhys Ifans, Vanessa Redgrave. She plays the Queen. Jolie Richardson's in it. So you can check it out. I think it came out in like 2011, but it kind of touches more on this conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and before we leave, I'd like to thank two more of our favorite people, two new patrons, Tamara and Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
we
man.
appreciate you signing. I will get it out today, folks.
Oh my gosh, you've been in here working and researching so long
I've been tongue-tied.
that your brain's shutting down.
It might be, but that could just be because I'm stupid.
No, I'm seriously wondering, are you having a stroke right now?
Stop. That's not funny.
But seriously, thank you. And man, been getting some, I was thinking about this. I don't have any brothers in real life. And I feel like we've had some men, some real men, patrons come, it's mostly women in the true crime world, which I love because I love women.
You love the ladies?
Yeah, but these are like my podcast bros, So I'm getting some backup up in here. And when you ladies start trying to be like, and I'm going to be like, shh, let me holler at Paul.
When have we ever tried to shut you down?
No, I'm saying, y'all can't be treating me like that.
Can I just tell you something really funny, Dylan? So we have
Yeah, I'm a Julian, Paul. Yeah, what's up? And there's others. I would look up everybody else, and I'm going to be like, yeah, we're going to be like, what?
You're like the interrupting orange today. Can I speak?
Oh, no. Oh, now you're going to try and make it look like I was being like chauvinistic or something?
Go
ahead.
Can I have the forum for a moment?
I'll allow it.
Jesus. So Mountain Murders has a TikTok account, which we've played with a little bit. We should probably post more frequently there, but we don't. And I was giggling earlier today when I went into the TikTok account for like the first time in weeks, and someone said our podcast was hood.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that is a compliment or an insult.
That was on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that is a compliment, but I would just rather clarify that I guess we are a version of hood. It's called trailer park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Hey, you know what? It's fine. Even if that was meant in a derogatory way, I don't care. You can call me hood, dude.
I can.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Hood rat.
Psh, no, I mean, you know what? What?
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard out here,
I don't even really know what that is. I would have to Urban Dictionary it. I'm not sure what a hood rat is.
Okay, I was going. All right, I'll end on that. I'll be like, you got me fucked up. That's what I would just. And you'd be like, what? And I'll be like, yeah, you finna find out.
No cap.
No cap.
Bet.
Bed.
All the things that you say that I'm like, what? Does that
Well,
even mean?
whoa. Don't credit me with no cap. I say that in jest. That's for the kids. That's the kids' lingo.
That's you trying to be the cool dad?
No, it's not me trying to be the cool dad.
Dylan's like, I'm not a regular dad. I'm a cool dad. As he stands there with like a beer and a cigarette in his hand. I'm the cool dad.
Oh, no, I'll leave that to the kids. That's their secret language they use.
Well, you can join us on Patreon. All you have to do is go to patreon.com, Mountain Murders Podcast, and you can sign up for just a couple of bucks a month, access more content. We have ad-free episodes there. We also have like a Discord chat with our patrons, which is pretty fun. We talk about true crime and a lot of other topics. So yeah, we offer up some pretty cool little extras there if you want to support the podcast. And if you sign up for an annual membership up front, like lump sum, you get a pretty decent discount on the annual membership. So you'll get some money off. It's a good way to save some cash.
Quite a few people's made use of that very thing, and I'm glad to see them taking advantage. Because, a penny saved is a penny made.
Earned, I think.
Oh, I don't care. I'm saying it like that.
Okay. All right, guys, we know you can't wait to hear more Dylanisms, so we'll be back on Sunday with another big bad true crime case. And as always, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you have some thoughts, want to drop us a line, mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media. We're most active on Instagram and Twitter, though we do have a Facebook, even though we kind of feel like that's a thing of the past. We're not really doing a whole lot of Facebook these days.
Man, you said all the stuff. You didn't leave anything for me to say.
Good.
Bye.
We've heard enough of you today. Okay, bye, guys.